Are you struggling with road markings? If you are struggling with road markings, this video is for you. I'm going to discuss the typical road markings you see on your driving lesson stroke driving test, and I'm going to show you the ones that come up in the theory test with visual clues and the questions and explanations that go with them. So these are the typical road markers that you see on your driving lessons, and some of these come up on the theory test. So as I said, I'm going to show you some examples of them and give you the questions that go along with them, and obviously a full explanation. So starting with the top left, this one marks the edge of the carriageway. So you are driving from the white line to the right, so it marks the edge of the carriageway. So the middle one and the right hand one looks very similar, so don't get confused with them. The middle one, long short lines, big gaps. The right hand one, long lines, short gaps. So the middle one gives you a visual clue of the center of the road. Remember, the theory test is aimed at new drivers. So when you're driving at night and you've got your lights on, it actually hits the line, it glows, it gives you a visual clue of where the middle of the road is. So you need all the help you possibly can once you pass your driving test to keep you calm and relaxed. That's what it's for, basically. It gives you a visual clue of the middle of the road. The right hand one is the one that comes up the most on the theory test. This is hazard lines. It shows you there's a hazard coming up. It doesn't tell you what the hazard is, but it tells you a hazard coming up. It's now for you to work out what the hazard is and then adjust your speed accordingly. The common places you will see this line is on approach to a give-way line. You normally see 5 of them, or an approach to a bend. Going to the bottom right, short and sweet. Let me just highlight that for you so you can see. Short lines, big gap. These are lane markings, so you should be on the left, staying left when possible, or meter from the curb, and then cars will be overtaking you on the right hand lane. So those are lane markings. That doesn't come up normally on the theory test, but it's good to know for your driving lessons. These are called hatchet markings. So they're called hatchet markings. I call them tram lines, but the correct name is hatchet markings, and it separates the traffic. That's what it does. So again, you are driving up and then the traffic is coming down, so it separates the traffic. Then you've got your double solid white lines, and you should not be overtaking on approach to double solid white lines. So double white lines you should not overtake. There is exception, but again, I will show you the example a little bit later with that. And then you've got the lines that are broken. Remember, you are going up and the traffic will be coming down. So the lines opposite you are broken. That's what they mention in the theory test normally. So the lines opposite you are broken. So those are the common lines that you see on your theory test. Now I'm going to give you some examples and give you the relevant questions that go with them. So there you can see the image of the edge of the carriageway line and the question that goes with it. What does the solid white line at the side of the road indicate? And as I mentioned, it's the edge of the carriageway. So this is the edge of the carriageway, and this is where you should be driving from that point up to there. So as you can see from the image on the theory test one, they show the broken lines. Let me just give you the visual clue of that. So as you can see there, that's what the most pupils go for when they get the question in the theory test. But like I said, they're not talking about that. They're talking about the solid white line. So as you can see from this image, these are the hazard lines. And if you look in the distance, you've got the bend coming up. So obviously it's highlighting the bend. And the common question on the theory test, what do the long white lines along the center of the road mean? The correct answer is hazard warning lines. The common answer that pupils go for is lane markings. So just remember, long lines, small gap, hazard warnings. Let's give you another visual clue of the hazard warning lines as well. And there you have another visual of the hazard warning lines in a different situation. And this image shows you the broken lines. Remember, you're going from bottom to top. So you're on the left-hand side going up, the cars are coming down the other side. So the lines opposite you are broken. The typical question is, you see these double white lines along the center of the road, when may you park up on the left? So the correct answer is to pick up or set down your passengers. You can't wait for them. Pick them up, set them down, move on. The common wrong answer is if a line nearest to you is broken, you stay in the obvious. The lines are broken, you stay in the obvious there. It's when you can set down your passengers, either drop them off, pick them up, move on. I'll be honest with you, this image and the one you can see in the question is a bit deceiving, because you're in the countryside, you'd be thinking, why will I be stopping there to pick up or drop off anyone? But I'll also give you another visual clue, as like I said, I like to give you hints and tips along the way. This sign also means to pick up or set down your passengers, no waiting. So you have it in line form and you have it in sign form. So just be careful with both of those. So this is the double solid white line in the middle of the road. And the typical question with that one is, when may you cross a double solid white line in the middle of the road? The correct answer is to pass a road maintenance vehicle traveling at 10 miles an hour or less. Sometimes they can give you a cyclist doing 10 miles an hour or less. Sometimes they can throw a 12 miles an hour in there as well. So let me just repeat that. The correct answer is to pass a road maintenance vehicle or a cyclist doing 10 miles an hour or less. If they give you the option of 10 to 12 miles an hour, always go for the slowest speed. The typical wrong answer is to pass a vehicle that's towing a trailer. So here you have the hatchet markings. I'll call them tram lines, but the correct word or the name is hatchet marking. So the typical question is, what's the reason for the hatchet area along the center of the road? And the correct answer is to separate traffic flowing in opposite direction. Remember, you're going up, and as you can see, the traffic's coming down. So technically that area is protecting the flow of traffic. There's also another question, when may you enter the hatchet markings? And it's when it's safe to do so or necessary. So something along those lines. Don't be put off by the color. As you can see in the image, you've got a brown one on the image to the left here. It's gray and white, but and there you go, you got a brown one. Regardless of the color, as long as the lines look similar, that is a hatchet marking, so it's going to be the same answer. So don't be thrown off by the color. So you have two types of cycle lane questions in the theory test, one with the broken line. So here you can see the lines are broken, and the one with the solid line in the question. So the questions are, for the solid line we're talking about, first of all, a cycle lane marked by a solid white line is in operation. What does this mean for car drivers? Correct answer, they mustn't drive along the lane. The common wrong answer, they may use the lane when necessary. Right, so that's the solid white line. Now the one with the broken lines, that's the one you can use if it's unavoidable. So let me just give you an example. If you had the car turning right, for example, in the image, but you can pass it on the left by going to the cycle lane, that would be acceptable because it's unavoidable. So you can only go into a cycle lane when it's broken, when it's unavoidable, but a solid white line, you cannot use it at any time unless the times on there says so. Some cycle lanes are 7 till 7, rush hour to rush hour, but in this particular one, it's not at any time because there's no times attached to it. Then you've got the school sign, keep clear. And the question is, if the road outside this school is marked with a yellow zigzag lines, what do these lines mean? And the correct answer, you shouldn't wait or park your vehicle here. The wrong answer, or the common wrong answer, you may park on the lines when dropping off school children. I know you see people doing it, but it's not right. It is to keep the school area clear. And they can also ask the other question, what's it for? What's the reason for it? And it's to allow children to see clearly when crossing the road. So that's the other option they may give you. An additional question they can ask about the school markings is, can you park on the school markings? And the answer is never no. Simple as that for the theory test, but in real life you can, as you can see from the sign, no stopping Monday to Friday, 8 AM to 5 PM. Remember, there's no school on a Saturday and Sunday, so you can park on there in real life, but for the theory test, just put never, as they always go for the safe option. And with this image, this is an advanced stop line, just in case you didn't know. As the cyclist will stop here, and as a driver, you should be stopping here. So the cyclist stops in the middle bit, and it's an advanced stop line. So the question that goes with that, if a junction controlled by traffic lights has a marked area between two stop lines, what's this for? Correct answer, to allow cyclists to position in front of other traffic so they could be seen clearly. That's the reason for it. And the most common wrong answer, to allow taxis to position in front of other traffic. And they show you this arrow, and the question that goes with this: what does this white arrow on the road mean? Return to your side of the road when safe to do so. So if you are overtaking someone, you need to get back to the left when safe to do so. So here's another example of it in use. Here's another example of it being used. Remember, you're going up, the car will be coming down, so someone's overtaking and have to get back to the left when safe to do so. And this image is called rumble strip. So the question that goes with this is, why are these yellow lines painted across the road? The correct answer is to make you aware of your speed. The most common wrong answer, to tell you the distance to the roundabout. Rumble strips are just painted slightly higher than the tarmac. So when you drive over, if it's nice and steady, you're going to get a smooth rumble. And if you're driving really quick, you're going to get a violent rumble. So then you know that your speed is too quick on approach to a hazard. They do ask about red routes and yellow lines. If that question comes up, it just helps traffic flow or eases congestion. As you can see from the image, double red lines are part of this. There's going to be no parking there whatsoever. Also take note, on the image to the right, you've got the red circle with the red X, which means no stopping at any time also. So here's a couple more examples of red routes. You'll also have the double yellows as well, which is similar, no stopping at any time. And again, that will help traffic flow and ease congestion, but they mainly talk about the red route ones. In terms of the yellow lines, they will talk about single yellow lines. And here's a few more examples. And here's some examples of single yellow lines, which is normally your parking restrictions. And as a bonus, some additional road markings. They show you these markings, and the question would be, where would you find these road markings? And the answer, at an entrance to a mini roundabout. And the other question they could ask you is, what would you do at these lines? And it's give way to your right. Because it's a roundabout, that's what you do, is give way to your right at a roundabout. And the last road marking I'm going to give you as an added bonus is your yellow junction box. So the question for this one: when may you wait in the box junction? And the answer is when oncoming traffic prevents you turning right. The full explanation is, the only time you can stop in the yellow junction box is when turning right, prevented from oncoming traffic, and your exit is clear. That's the full explanation, and they can use any part of what I just said. So I'll just repeat that again just to make sure. The only time you can stop in the yellow junction box is when you're turning right, prevented from oncoming traffic, and your exit is clear. And I'll just give you another question: when may you enter a box junction? When your exit road is clear. So like I said, they can split up what I said earlier on into segments as well. Same question, just worded slightly different. And that goes back to what I said before in most of my videos: understand the theory test. If you understand the question, understand the answer, guess what? You stand a better chance of passing. But if you're going to memorize it, I wish you luck. Good luck with that. So hopefully you got some benefit from that. If you did, like, comment and subscribe. YouTube's going to show you a video here. I'm going to show you a video here. Go off and watch which one's relevant to you, and I should catch you in the next video.